So the gender optics and the underlying like imbalance of power is something that I think is kind of critical to the situation in New York. Their GM is named Jonathan Kolb. He is a male in his mid 30s. He kind of has this like ascending executive narrative around him, like being like a visionary.
I already can't.
I know, right? Like it sounds so like barf. I hate even saying it. I don't know. I don't know what this man looks like. I just know some of the things he said that I didn't like. And then obviously we've talked about Sandy Brondello's resume, but Sandy Brondello is like a veteran, accomplished female coach, and she's definitely been labeled as sort of like steady and nice and kind of has like an old school approach, player friendly approach.
Here he is.
Here he is. Yes, a white man. There he is, Jonathan Kolb. We don't.
30s white male, my favorite.
Visionary, my ass. Can't not. Sorry.
I'm sure he's lonely.
Yeah, we don't know. So in a way, like this creates like an interesting power dynamic because Sandy is also like I don't know, we'd have to Google her age, but I would estimate
She's
in her 60s.
She's in her 50s.
She's in her late 50s. Okay, I was going to say like around
she's
60.
She's coaching for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Maybe.
This is like a veteran female coach with like a young like tech bro GM is what it feels like. Exactly. And I think that creates like a really, really interesting power dynamic that I think that permeates industries outside of, this. And so really it kind of feels like in a way like him firing a decorated woman in a league sends a message like whether it was intentional or not, like who gets to define like the modern game and like culture fit. Like I think a lot of what he suggested with Sandy was that she wasn't like she was winning but like wasn't winning the right way. Like he has a different vision for the franchise and she didn't like fit that narrative or that culture more. And so it also kind of begged the question of like that goes beyond your resume and your accomplishments, right? That like you also have to fit kind of like the growth narratives that the league is experiencing.
Exactly.
And it's kind of interesting because there are a lot of male coaches like Curt Miller, for example, who was with the Sparks for a long time. He's no longer the coach of the Sparks. He's now the GM in Dallas, but he was given a lot of runway to kind of underperform. And I think they're given like patience and praise for developing players, whereas like the female coaches are definitely on like a short leash to do that kind of thing.
It's true. And I kind of looked into like how the league has oscillated with like female coaches and their penetration to the total versus like men. And I find it so interesting. Like the league it's gone in like a lot of different directions. Like sometimes it's been heavily weighted female coaches. Sometimes it's been heavily weighted male coaches. And I think like it's in a flux period again right now. What I will say is like, I think, I don't know, heartening to see is that it feels like they're cutting people either way now. I feel like the runway and tolerance is changing because of what we already mentioned, just like so many eyeballs on the sport right now. The GM from Dallas was let go too.
Or the coach was.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
I say GM, yes. The coach.
The GM is Curt Miller, who they gave and seemed like forever to in LA.
Right.
When the team was terrible.
Yeah. So, I think it's like they're really shaking things up and they're continuing to do this. I feel like over the last few years, especially clearly. But it's just really interesting. I don't know. And I think like the coaching decision that like just on the subject of men coaches, female coach, male coaches, female coaches, and like all the shakeup that's happening right now. They just named the coach of the Portland Fire